Oh, wow. That happened really fast. Look at that. So now we're officially live.
Hello.
Hello indeed. Hopefully some people will join us pretty quick here.
How is everybody's rainy evening?
At least it isn't snow.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm good if we're done with that for the season. Totally fine with it.
Too. Me too.
Yeah. Of course, I'd be fine with it if we didn't have it at all. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I know I have friends that always make fun of me. You grew up in Michigan. How do you not like snow? Because it sucks.
It causes problems.
What do you want? Like, it makes me hurt, and it's gross, and the roads suck. Like, why do you like it?
Exactly right. I didn't even like it when I was younger, and now that I'm old, I like it even less.
Right.
This is our first winter in a dozen years that we wintered in Michigan. Oh. We normally do a couple months in Florida, and decided that we weren't going to go this year. And gosh, what a mild winter it was.
So that was mild good for us, Eric.
Well, I won't claim it, but it works for me. Plus, the weather was not great in Florida.
Yeah.
So, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's not great in Florida. So, I was okay staying in Michigan.
Fair enough.
Oh, what a cutie!
Yeah, this is my little beta.
Well, I think she's trying. There she is!
Yay! Good afternoon.
It worked.
Oh, maybe.
Uh-oh.
There she is.
Okay. I was going to say, she's working fine for me. I don't know what's going on with you.
It was loading.
Okay, good. How is everybody?
We are doing great. It's a little saturated outside, but other than that,
it wet there too.
Yeah. Oh my God. You couldn't even see in front of you. It came down so hard. Is it raining over there, Eric?
Nope. It rained steadily much of the day, but by, 3:30, I think it sort of cleared off. And I don't think we're supposed to get any more, though.
Oh, so you sent it this way.
I didn't do anything with it, just for the record.
If it makes you feel better, it downpoured here about an hour ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And I guess we probably need it.
We do. It'll bring the flowers.
Yeah. My daffodils are very confused.
So are mine.
They were blooming for a week before the snow came, and it was like, the hell is this?
Well, yeah, and all my lilacs are budded out, and then that
40
degrees hit, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that was a really hard frost we had a few days ago.
Yeah.
Really hard. I'm like, please kill all the bugs, please. It didn't work.
No.
I got bit in the butt yesterday by mosquitoes.
Oh. Sounds like it sucked.
Somebody glued to you tonight, Conrad?
Huh?
Somebody glued to you tonight?
Apparently.
Aw.
She can't get any deeper in my neck, let me tell you. She is full force pushing from my arm against me.
Too funny.
Apparently she needs more attention.
Oh, I'm sure she's totally neglected and so loved.
She is glued to my hip as soon as I walk in the door from the time I leave.
Yes, I have one of those. She's called Princess.
She acts like a princess.
Well, what did you expect naming her Princess?
Well, she is a princess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very spoiled princess.
Don't speak of the princess.
So, are we going to talk about Eric?
Oh, by the way, it's her birthday today.
Well, happy birthday, baby. How old?
4.
She's 4 already?
Yeah, she's 4 already.
Wow.
Out of here. Oh, that's right. She's the same age as Lily. Yeah. Well, I suppose we can get started with the real reason why we're here with Mr. Eric Webster.
Happy to be here. Lovely to see your faces. It's been so long.
So long.
Very long time.
Yeah. I think, Conrad, I think you were finishing up massage school the
Yep.
last time I saw you. Last time I saw you, I was naked.
True story.
Well, that's
Under sheets. Under sheets.
Undersheet, yeah,
that doesn't really help, guys.
properly covered.
Hey,
Is your
now,
voice-
we were all naked that day, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
I was not. I kept my underwear on.
That
Oh.
for him, that's probably the downside. All these, at least for me, these old farts that are. Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
So, Eric, tell us what you've been doing. What have you been up to?
Well, same old, same old. I'm doing quite a bit of hypnosis. I've got a guy coming in tomorrow who asked if I could help him. He self-proclaimed compulsive liar, and he said it's not even important stuff. I don't know why I do it. So that's going to be kind of an interesting excavation to find out what's going on and what the payoff is for him, and then to do that hypnosis session to modify things a bit. And then on Friday, I've got two ladies coming in that found me online. I love when that happens. And they're coming in back to back, they're friends, to do past life regression hypnosis.
Ooh.
And that's becoming a thing. That's becoming
That's a big
really
thing.
popular. So,
Big thing.
yeah. And it's kind of a hoot because, I also work in the Akashic Record, which is the composite history of the soul. And so sometimes some of the past life stuff comes up when I'm doing readings for people. And sometimes when I do hypnosis, we end up going to the library of the Akashic Record for part of the regression. And the record keeper pulls this massive volume off the shelf and opens it, and then words and phrases and paragraphs sort of pop off the page. And we've determined, the clients have determined that those are the words and phrases and paragraphs that are most important for them to have exposure to. So it's I love my work. To be able to shine a light from a different direction for people, to help them maybe see their own divinity, to see how incredible they really are, because there are so many walking wounded that for their entire life have been told they're worthless, they'll never be enough, they'll never be good enough, nothing they ever do will be enough. And maybe if they're nearly perfect, maybe someday they'll find somebody to love them. And then, of course, the corollary to that is, and if you're not feeling particularly loved, then that necessarily means that you really suck. And God, I can't tell you how many people I've encountered that, and I are one. So it's kind of an interesting thing when they, just by being who they are, hold up a mirror to help me remember that I'm incredibly human, and I still have a curriculum of gigantic proportions of stuff that I want to and need to also be working on. So shouldn't give me an opening, man. What's that?
You've overcome a lot through your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. And and there's still some more, it turns out. But for me, it's like peeling an onion. You take a layer, you cry the tears that come with it, and then you go for another one. And one of my favorite phrases anymore is, and when you find yourself going through hell, it's important to keep going.
Yes.
You don't pitch a tent there.
No.
And so, yeah. Life is good. My doggies love me, and my kitty and my parrot. And when I go out to the barn, everybody makes noise and kicks their stall, and The donkeys raise hell because they know I'll do Reiki, and Peppy and Sally are little Reiki horrors. They just absolutely love a Reiki treatment.
Oh, I bet.
And yeah, so fun stuff. I cut way back on fairs and expos this year.
Yeah.
I think I did 38 events last year.
Oh my God, Eric.
Now, some of that was Friday in Howell at that little shop that I used to do, and then Saturday, Sunday, wherever on the east side. But Howell is closed, darn it. That was a lovely little shop. And I'll be 71 this year, and I'm still young for my age.
You are.
And I read that as, and still childish too, as opposed to childlike. But that just got to be a bit much. And Clyde, every time I'd pull the suitcase out, my big dog, he'd give me the side eye. And he was not happy that Daddy was going away again. So
and boy, that works every time.
Yeah.
I could be up north, and if I get the phone call that somebody's missing me, I come back down.
Yeah. Well, they give us so much.
They do.
Clyde especially. I mean, and we have 5 dogs, a cat, and a parrot at the house.
See, he has 5 dogs too.
5 is actually too many. But we have a Basset and a Jack Russell that sadly, I don't think they're ready to hit the exit yet, but we can feel that their exits are not far away. But they've had wonderful, good lives. And
yes.
Penny, the Basset, we rescued her. She'd been used as a breeder.
Like Princess.
Just horrible. Just absolutely horrible. Her belly dragged on the ground.
Yep.
She was not healthy. She was not happy. I think that the person we got her from slipped her a roofie so we could get her in the car.
Oh my God.
And I mean, it didn't take her long to realize that she was glad when she was in hell that she kept going. And life at Hotel Caledonia was quite an improvement over what she'd been experiencing. So, yeah.
It's love for the first time. It's a shock to them.
Yeah. And it does take, just like with humans, it takes a while before they grow to trust it.
Yes.
Because they're not stupid.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. I was telling Chelsea, I think that Clyde and I very likely were brothers in another lifetime. And when I whisper in his ear about that, I said, that just tells me that you were the good brother because I had to come back as a human. And,
that's a good one, Eric.
Yeah, but I believe it's true. And I whisper in his ear every night at bedtime.
Oh.
And I tell him, honey, you're one of the best humans I've ever known in my entire life. And I'm so proud and honored that I get to be your human.
That's awesome.
And I mean that just so sincerely. He's such a good boy. Almost all the time. So what are you guys up to? Conrad, you're doing massage in Ohio? What are you doing?
I'm actually working at a candle factory.
Oh.
Yeah. And
it smells so good when he comes home.
Yeah. I don't think so. Jordan doesn't think so either. He don't like that. It has a different smell to it rather than candles. And I'm doing like remote clients for like readings and such as well.
Oh, good.
And kind of building up a massage clientele.
Okay.
It takes time, honey. That's not an overnight thing.
Absolutely. And just like building something, you're building something of substance. So it's really, really important to make sure that foundational work that you're doing is going to support the massive structure that you're building. whatever that looks like. And so anytime spent on that foundation and getting it ready and having your systems and policies and all that sort of stuff, that's really valuable. And it gives you that experience. There's so many practitioners, so many business people that are in business in pretty much any line that are really good at what they do, but they absolutely suck at business. And so to get that business part down, and of course with your family here in this room, you've got a good resource for what that looks like and how that should work. And I hope you know that if there's ever anything I can do to help you in that regard or anything else, just make the call.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things I love doing, is helping people. So, and Donna, you're like the real estate queen of Northern Michigan now.
Not hardly.
Well, it looks like you're staying busy with it.
I'm busy. I enjoy meeting the people. I really do.
I bet your psychic and empathic abilities gives you an incredible leg up on a lot of the competition, because you know the answers to the questions before the people even know what the questions are.
Pretty much.
That's what a cool thing, because you integrated all of who you are, and it works well in every single environment, I think. I kept my woo-woo Eric separate from my business Eric for a very long time. And I was, as you know, I was a realtor for 30 years. So, and boy, when I decided it was integration time, perfect. It was wonderful.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say everyone I've sold something to, I'm still in contact with.
Yeah.
We're friends, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you offer like space clearing and all of that sort of stuff for the properties that you're selling?
I do, if they're interested. If I can see they're uncomfortable with something in a room or something, I'll tell them I'll come back and do this for you.
Yeah.
And I've had several do that.
Makes a big difference.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yeah.
Now you know yourself, you get some that you don't want. And you just make your way through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're like me, the day comes where you get one or two where you just go, nope. And you say, I think I need to refer you to somebody else, because I just don't feel like we're going to work well together, and I don't want to disappoint you.
That's happened one time.
I had an arrogant young doctor who knew everything about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he was pushy and rude and perennially 20 minutes late.
Oh, yes.
And he pulled in one day and wanted to change the neighborhood, the whole school district where we were looking that day. And I said, yeah, that's actually not going to happen.
No.
And I said, as a matter of fact, I'll talk to Linda, who was the physician recruiter, and we'll make some other arrangements, because I just don't think that you and I are going to. And I don't know that he got the job. Linda knew me pretty well. So.
Something tells me he disappeared.
Yeah, but I didn't do it.
No.
I did not do it.
No, he did it to himself.
Yeah.
I recently had one like that, and I was glad to see him go.
Yep. Those are called addition by subtraction.
Especially when you're looking at lake homes you're not qualified for, and you're going to offer half of what they want. I'm like, that don't work today, dude.
Especially in today's market? No,
Definitely not.
That's okay. But Eric, tell us how you got into hypnotism.
It was magic.
It was magic.
Years ago, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I think, young man that worked for me was very much into the Jose Silva method of mind control, which
Okay.
if you're not familiar with it, powerful stuff. And so I bought the book, a little paperback book, and I read it and I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. And I was skeptical. So I thought, well, I'm going to do the Silva method programming for 3 things that are just ridiculous. And that way, if they happen, I know that there's no other logical explanation other than the Silva method works. So at that point, I woke up at the same time every day, and I woke up grumpy every day. And so I programmed that I would wake up 30 minutes earlier than normal, that I would be just in a wonderful mood, and that here was the kicker, that I would find myself whistling Dixie while I was shaving. Now,
Okay.
I'm not a guy that's been prone ever to whistle Dixie, but I thought that would be the tell. And I think Silva calls for 4 or 5 nights. And so I did that, and then I forgot about it until one morning I'm whistling Dixie while I'm shaving. And I looked at my clock, and I was, in fact, 30 minutes earlier. And I went, oh, my God, and I'm in a really good mood today. And so it was a pretty eye-opening experience for me. And then years later, Reiki, I got Reiki attunements. I got all 3 of those. So I'm a Reiki master, and I could teach, but I just haven't felt that. So I'm not doing, I still do Reiki every night, but I don't teach it or do the attunements. And then Akashic Record came, and then a former business colleague and former friend had a connection with Sheila Granger from England, and she was coming to the U.S. to teach hypnosis. And so she came to Muskegon, Michigan, and I did 100 hours of classroom training, very experiential training. She would talk about a protocol, and then she'd pick somebody in the class and demonstrate it, and then we would pair off and hypnotize each other to do that protocol. So it was really fascinating. And that included the virtual gastric band, which is the weight loss part that I work with. And my wife owns an office building in Grand Rapids. She's got a property and casualty insurance company. And at that point, it was about 50% vacant. So I moved a bunch of my woo-woo friends in, and the building has been full ever since.
Awesome.
A lot of turnover, but still full. And I was still working in real estate. I was a corporate employee of one of the real estate companies here in town. So I was doing nights and weekends with hypnosis. And I did less and less real estate and more of this. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh hell, I don't know where it is. I have a sticker here that came. I'm not going to find it. 3 best. I'm one of the 3 best hypnotists in Grand Rapids.
No,
Fabulous.
So,
I believe it too.
Yeah.
So who are the top people you hypnotize?
Top situations?
Yep.
Okay. Virtual gastric band is the largest, although a couple years ago when COVID was going, I actually worked with more people to quit smoking than virtual gastric band. So smoking is perennially a number 2. Past life regression is gaining. That's been kind of spotty. I helped one compulsive gambler overcome that. I've helped quite a number of people modulate their relationship with alcohol. Exam stress. There's a local realtor who his dad is an old friend of mine and has been in the business forever. And the son was getting in the business and he knew the stuff. It was in his DNA. I mean, he grew up with it, but he was bombing on the test. So he came in and we did a couple of sessions, and he's been selling houses for a few years now. There's an RN in Lansing, similarly, knew the information cold, but just would freeze up in the exam.
That's That was me.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite, one of my favorite things that I hear from clients when they come in is, well, I figured I've tried everything else and nothing else works. I got nothing to lose by trying this. And I just think, oh, I wish you would have saved yourself the time and the aggravation and just come here first. But, but there's so many misconceptions. Just like with everything that you all do, there are still people that think that hypnosis is the devil's work.
Oh, I believe that.
And, yeah, see, I don't even believe that there is a devil. So how can I be working for him?
It's funny you said that. I had a conversation with a lady that passed away, and she was like a mom to me. And she told me years and years and years ago, she said, we all live our life in hell. Why should there be a hell?
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm like, you really think about that? And you're right. We all go through it at one time or another.
Yep. Mm. And so much of the creation, in my view, of the devil and all of the hellfire and damnation stuff, I really do believe that it is more about controlling people and having dominion over them. And it's just like, whatever. Bring it, devil. Just bring it.
Exactly. If I have to see my family, I guess I'll go to hell.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't think I'll like the people that go to heaven. I mean, no. Yeah, I probably will, but I don't know. When God and I talk, she and I seem to be okay with where we are. So,
well, that's what you want.
Yep. Yep.
Now I hear you're going to do your own podcast.
I signed up for a thing. I'm doing 3 30-minute podcasts, interviews. There's news people out of New York, apparently, that are the interviewers.
Nice.
Those are in April.
Okay.
I was hesitant. I mean, they wanted to sell me 10 of them, and it was $5,000. And I'm like, I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. And so I wouldn't, sign up for that kind of a commitment. But I did sign up for 3 of them. And if they produce 10% of what they suggested it would, I'll end up being pretty happy with it. Those are going to be middays, I think, on Thursday, the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th, probably.
Nice.
So, of course, I'll put a link up so people can.
Well, I hope so.
Just audio, and 1 is video, so people can watch them or listen to them live, and then like this, I'll post it online afterwards so people can go back if they missed it or wanted to. Do we have anybody here tonight, or is it just the 4 of us?
I don't know, Chelsea. You got that end?
It says there's 4 people watching, but I don't know if it's us 4.
Well, then we've gone for quality rather than quantity tonight.
That'd be odd if there was nobody on, but I don't know. Chelsea sees that end. Oh.
Was that thunder?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm jealous. I didn't get any thunder. I just got boring rain. Now I have
if all of a sudden my screen blacks out, you'll know why.
Oh, you'll be fine. Don't give me that. You got a phone. You'll be fine.
That ain't been working great either.
That's what I told Conrad. I said, if you go out, then you better bust your phone out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Eric, how does it work when you put somebody under hypnosis? Because I'm ignorant to the actual way it works. Because if I'm like anybody
trained in it.
If I'm like anybody else, we just picture some crazy guy with a mustache with a pocket watch type thing.
Well, I have a mustache, and I'm called crazy. I actually have a beard now that is started. Not sure if I'm keeping it or not, but we'll see.
That's a hiatus beard.
What's that?
They call it a hiatus beard.
A hiatus beard.
Oh. Yeah, one day I just said, well, I'm tired of shaving. I guess I'll see if I've never had a beard before. So, and they say that longer hair and beards can be better antennas in terms of communicating with spirit. And that was one of the indigenous people. One of the reasons the men all wore their hair so long, I'm told. I don't know if that's factual or nonsense, but so the process of a hypnotherapy session, Chelsea, starts with a conversation. And I talk a bit like I did before about the fallacies and what it is and what it isn't, to allay any concerns or fears, ask if they have any questions or concerns, and we deal with those. And then we do a deep dive into their life, into the situation that they're wanting to overcome. And oftentimes in hypnosis and in life, turns out, the symptom that they're wanting to overcome is truly just the symptom of a much deeper underlying causative factor. And so that's where the deep dive takes me, so I know what I'm working with to eliminate, to reprogram. And then I have a wonderful big leather recliner and headsets. Just ordered a new one today because I noticed I broke one. Damn it. And I cue some music and I start talking in my hypnotic voice. And I just get them to relax deeper and deeper. Take a big deep breath and hold it and let it go. And then we start at their crown and relax their body all the way to the tips of their toes. And then we go to the beach where they're told that no one needs anything from them now. No one has any expectations of them whatsoever. And eventually they end up on a wonderful lounge chair on the sand. And by then I've cued in the ocean waves on the sound. And so the waves are washing in and the sun is shining. It's a gorgeous day and they're so happy to be here. And then we actually get down to work, whatever it is. And while I have scripts, quote unquote, that I use just to sort of keep me on track, I don't ever use, it's never the full script. It's all intuitively done. It's all custom done based on the conversation that we had. For smoking and for weight loss, one of the parts of it is I take them to a hospital, and for the weight loss, they're going to have their own surgery. And for the smoking, they're just visiting, and oh my gosh, there's a room right there off to the right, and there's a man just a little bit older than you, not much at all. Oh my gosh, look at all those machines. I've never seen anybody hooked up. It's breathing. It's clear. Look at the color of his skin. It's clear that he's at the end of his life and his family's all here. And man, you put it on with a trowel. Absolutely put it on with a trowel. And then you get to the end of that part and you say, but that isn't you, because you've decided to take charge of your life. And with the weight loss, it's similarly brutal. And in some cases, we go to their funeral.
Holy shit.
Who's going to get up and what are they going to say? I bet this woman doesn't have any idea how loved she is. I bet she didn't have any idea the way that she touched people's lives and how much she's going to be missed. And, but that's not you, and then they go into the operating room and we place the band and the sound of the heart monitor and all that is in the background. And, but see, that's just the surface thing. But it's really reprogramming them that they don't have to be a part of the Clean Plate Club anymore.
Right.
Because all of us as young people were told, I was told, clean up your plate, you'll be a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mom. And I don't blame my mother. But we were given so many messages about eating, about everything that were meant with love. But quite frankly, we're so wrong-headed And so a lot of I do is unprogram and reprogram for all of that sort of thing. And it's really fascinating. And of course, I have my Eric Webster hypnosis Akashic record open while I'm doing hypnosis. So my crowd is talking to their crowd, and almost every time I'll look up at the ceiling and go, "Ooh, good one," because they'll give me a word or a phrase that is in alignment with what I was going to do, but way better than I would have come up with on my own. So it's pretty fun.
So Kirsten wants to know, how does hypnosis work for individuals with ADHD?
Works wonderfully well. And I'm not saying necessarily that I can help a person overcome ADHD, but there's no contraindication of doing hypnosis with somebody that has that as part of their life. But I also think that it's highly likely that with some hypnosis, some different methods of coping with that and managing that can be installed that can be really helpful. So I have not found, I've been doing this for 11 years, doing hypnosis. I've not found any behavioral situation that can't be positively impacted. Now, my personal thing, I do not work with what I would call hardcore alcoholic or drug addiction, because I really think that requires a whole nother skill set than I have to work in those areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had one old guy, and I'll be 71, so I'm calling him an old guy. He had me by more than a few years. He was single, and I think in his day he probably was a bit of a player, and I think he probably still was a bit, but he was not entirely thrilled with everything. And that was one that I was like, oh, am I really going to do this? And I thought, well, what the heck? He really wants to change it. So we did 3 sessions, and he came back smiling. He was pretty happy with the outcome. So I haven't done this, and again, not interested, but I have read of hypnotherapists, clinical hypnotherapists, who have done boob jobs, hypnotherapy boob jobs with clients that worked. I know of people that have done hypnobirthing, where the mother does not have any drugs or anesthetic at all. I have read in some journals about surgical patients who the only part that isn't them is hypnosis. There's no anesthetic. There's no nothing. You bet, Kristen. And feel free to reach out to me directly if you want to go deeper with that conversation. EricWebster.com is my website, and I'm always happy to, no pressure, no obligation, no cost conversations to help people figure out.
She will love you. She's another one of my adopted ones.
Yeah, okay. You have a lot of those.
I do.
And that's good, though.
I wouldn't trade them for the world.
Nope. Nor they you, I would bet.
They better not.
Yeah.
I'll haunt them.
I trade your dolls, but not you. That face.
So, Chelsea, does that give you a better picture of what it might look and feel like?
Yes.
Okay.
Although it was a little more terrifying than I was expecting.
Well, the fun thing, though, is your subconscious mind, which is where I do my work with hypnosis, won't let anything land that you're not okay with. Okay, and so I have a Makatawa bank that's out on the corner of my street. And as I describe that to people, I say, if I was a creep and while I had you hypnotized, I planted the suggestion that when you woke up, you were going to go across the street to the bank and empty out all your bank accounts, bring me the cash and have no memory of it. Your subconscious mind is going to bat it away, like a hockey goalie, and it's going to say, we got bullshit coming in, and it would not allow that to land.
That's right.
So there really is a wonderful safety net. And the other thing, one of the other things is, just you may have seen it. It just flew out of my ear. Oh, the worst thing that can happen with hypnosis is nothing.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people that don't think they believe in hypnosis, don't think they can be hypnotized. And yet hypnosis apparently believes in them, and we were able to hypnotize them. I had one guy that was a 2-pack-a-day smoker, needed both of his knees replaced, and his surgeon said, I won't touch you with a scalpel until it's been 8 weeks since your last cigarette.
Wow.
He had no belief that it was going to work. None whatsoever, but he thought, what have I got to lose? And he walked in like an injured chimpanzee because his knees were so painful.
Oh.
And so the first session, I did the normal tobacco thing. And then I thought, I'll just throw in a little bit of relief for his knees just because it hurts me to watch him walk. He came back a week later for his second session. First words out of his mouth were, I don't know what you did to my knees, but can we do a whole session of that today?
Oh.
That I haven't had a single cigarette. He went from 2 packs a day to nothing.
Wow.
And he actually walked out looking pretty human at the end of the second session.
That's
The mind is a powerful thing.
It is. Have you yourself ever been hypnotized?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Numerous times, actually. In training, when Sheila Granger does the virtual gastric band training, she always picks somebody in the class to be her crash test dummy. And that was me. And so I went through the virtual gastric band. I need to do it again because I've let myself go. My life has gone to the dogs.
I think I need it too.
I dropped 50 pounds, and we went to lunch right after she did the first session. And I thought, oh, I better order differently than I normally would because I don't want to spend these prices and waste that food. So I ordered a crab cake appetizer, and it was like 4 tiny little crab cakes and then a slash of strawberry jicama slaw. And apparently jicama is a Jamaican thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard of it. Oh my God. Anyhow, I got through about 3/4 of one of those crab cakes, one of those tiny little crab cakes. And Sheila was sitting right next to me. And I looked at her and I said, are you freaking kidding me right now? And she just howled. And of course, she turned it into a teachable moment. And she said, why, Eric, whatever do you, she's British. Why, Eric, whatever do you mean? And I said, well, I'm full. And that was it. Got me through the afternoon on 3/4 of a tiny little crab cake and 2 bites of strawberry jicama slaw. And and I've done some regression, some past life regression. I am told that you can do future life progression, which I find to be kind of interesting.
How would that work?
Well, it would be like past life, except you'd be going to the future instead. For me, though, I would really need a strong disclosure of none of this overrides your free will. You are driving this bus, and you always have the right to turn the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people that when I'm doing Akashic record readings too, when they talk about future things. I've had some interesting past life stuff with regression. You'll love this. It's been a while. I had a friend right after I got certified for hypnosis, was in a car versus bicycle, and she was the bicycle.
Oh.
And she was a beautiful, vibrant. She reminded me of Judy Collins in terms of her appearance and her energy and her sweetness. And I was really tempted to talk to her about an experiment of doing a regression, taking her back prior to the accident, and then convincing her subconscious mind that the accident never happened. And my hang up was, yeah, but if her contract was signing up to have that accident and to live as a quadriplegic, I don't want to bend the time-space continuum here. And I was new enough at it that I just decided not to.
Mm-hmm.
And later I got to a place where I thought, well, if that was what she signed up for, then it would not be allowed to work. And I couldn't mess with that.
Right.
And then later, probably one of my dearest friends of this lifetime, it'll be 4 years ago, April 25th, that she died. And she had lung cancer, never smoked in her life.
Wow.
And I had the same thought with her. Can I take her back? Can I regress her to the point where that first cell division went haywire and just pluck that cell out of there?
Yeah.
So I really am tempted. I'm really tempted to do something like that. I have some misgivings. So
I could see the misgivings. I mean, that's like tempting fate.
Yeah, but by the same token, the power of their mind,
right,
doing the healing. So may I not have anybody close to me that's an option, because I'm still not quite clear on what I would want to do or any. But isn't that fascinating to think about?
That would be fascinating.
My question is, though, would it be something like, so how you described the mind has its own defense mechanism? If the mind deems that something impossible, would it just bat that idea away?
It might, but by the same token, if their will to overcome the paralysis or to live life longer was stronger than the fear, again, the worst thing that could happen is nothing.
Right.
But one of the challenges in prepping them for that would be how do I discuss that?
Yeah.
Because I want them to believe and to have hope that it's possible.
Right.
But I don't want to puff smoke that if it doesn't work, that it takes them to a whole new level of depression. So
because hypnosis is basically a very strong power of suggestion, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if somebody goes into their appointment and they completely just block it out, they don't believe in it at all, are they the ones that never have results?
See, I've never had anybody that didn't get results.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing that comes into play, whether there's hypnosis involved or not, is about what's their return on investment. And that applies to everybody walking around, bad behavior, bad choices.
True.
What are they getting out of it? What do they get? What's their payback for being 150 pounds overweight and horribly unhealthy?
Right.
If they're hanging on to that, then that's yet another obstacle.
It is.
We don't eat because we're hungry. We eat because we're sad, we're lonely, we're angry, we're frustrated, we're bored. It's mealtime, all of those things. And they say that it's not what we eat that makes it fat. It's what's eating us.
Yeah.
True story.
True story.
Kristen has another question for you.
I don't know what string theory is, so I can't tell you.
I have heard metaphysical people talk about this, and they say it does run along that theory. I've heard them talk about string theory and future life progression together.
So, string theory, in simple terms, is a collection of ideas in theoretical physics in which the fundamental building blocks of nature are not particles, such as the point-like electron, but instead strings. Imagine microscopic wiggling rubber bands.
Okay.
Because I know that string theory is brought up a lot, and one of the biggest things that's also brought up, especially in the paranormal field, is quantum physics. And I think that really plays into like the dimensional things. So like, are we seeing ghosts, or are we actually seeing dimensions that are side by side with ours?
Well, there are people, a lot of people, I think, that believe that we're living every lifetime simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
That Abe Lincoln is going to Ford Theater tonight,
Right,
on some dimension, and so that adds a kind of an interesting twist and wrinkle to the whole past life regression, future life progression.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And that's another one that I've thought about, and I got no reason to not believe it,
Right.
but it gives me a little bit of a twitch when I think about it. So
yeah, it hurts the brain a little bit.
It absolutely does. Absolutely does.
It's like I've thought about it a lot too, especially during investigations. The thought crosses my mind: is this a person I'm talking to from the past, or is this a person I'm talking to from the future and I'm the ghost? Which way is this really? Am I the dead one? Are they alive? Are we coexisting at the same time and we just don't know how to break that barrier? Like, it makes
I love that. Boy, I've never thought of that before.
All of that into consideration.
Yeah.
All of it.
And on the one hand, it probably doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
No.
But it sure is an interesting thing to wrestle with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I really started thinking about it when I moved into this house, because when I first moved in here, I was seeing a little girl all the time. I don't see her anymore. I don't think I've seen her in about a year and a half now, because I'd like to think that she finally moved on. We got her some closure, but like, it just makes me think, was she still living her life when I was seeing her, when we just closed that barrier? Are we really making people move on, or are we just shutting that door and we can't see them anymore?
I think, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I think largely we help them move on.
Yeah.
When my daughter was in the Peace Corps in Romania, and I was still with her mother at that point, we traveled to Europe. And one of the places we went was Budapest in Hungary. And there's a museum there called the House of Terror. And it was Nazi headquarters during those years. It was Soviet headquarters during those years. And so hundreds or thousands of people were imprisoned, questioned, tortured, murdered in that building. And my ex-wife and my daughter are voracious museum people. I mean, they read every word, and I love that they do that. I go and go, oh, cool. And I've had enough. But I found a quiet corner and was meditating and was inundated with disembodied spirits that were still in that building, had no idea what had happened, what was going on. And so I spent an hour or so talking to them and pointing them where the light was. And about a month later, a friend and I never told my friend about that, she called me from Phoenix and she said, hey, I saw you in Budapest last night. And I said, really? I was here in Grand Rapids in my bed. No, you know what I mean. We apparently met up at this place in Budapest and continued that work. And so I love that.
Absolutely.
And there's not 1 ounce of that. And that was new to me then. Not 1 ounce of it did I not believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So. I mean, when it comes to like the little girl, I do feel like she did finally move on. But I always just like, I can't help but think of well, what if it's this? If it's this? I don't see why she couldn't pop back in. I don't think she will though. But it was really cool though, because when I moved in, I know the family that used to own this house because they're my neighbors.
Okay.
And they would tell me that when they lived here, and I think it was probably in like the 80s or 90s or so, that they would hear a little girl running around the house and giggling and all this stuff. So I had validation, and I was like, okay, so I'm not just seeing shit.
Yep.
But
And that's important because
Mhm.
what's our favorite question? Is this real or am I making up shit?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't care if you are an experienced paranormal investigator, if you've seen shit all of your life, or if you're brand new to it, you should probably always question it just to make sure that what it is valid. So like, anytime I have some sort of paranormal experience, I'm always looking for validation, no
Yep.
matter if it's something involved with an investigation and my equipment, or if it's my intuition and my feelings. So like, I'm always looking for that.
It is my belief that the day we stop asking, is it real or am I making up shit, is the day we started making up shit.
Exactly. So Tina Marie says, same thing happened with the spirits when I went to the spot of where the Twin Towers had been. There were spirits still roaming, that for them the tragedy had just happened. That's horrifying.
And it makes me want to go to Germany, Poland, go to Auschwitz and Buchenwald, because how can there not be potentially millions of souls
So many lost souls
that are still hanging around?
Mhm.
I was out, again, a lot of this stuff goes back some years. This is probably 15 years ago. I went to Pine Ridge Reservation, and we did sweat lodge with one of the medicine men from the Lakota Nation. Did like sweat 4 nights in a row. Ooh. But one of our day trips was to Wounded Knee. And that brought me right to my knees. I wounded my knee. It just was the energy there was so sad and deep. So yeah.
When we were in Washington, D.C. and went to the Holocaust Museum, I
Oh,
left there in tears.
Yeah.
the room that took me was the shoe room. They had
yeah.
shoes, and the smell combined with the smell, the atmosphere, and then just seeing everything. That like there, I remember because we were all in 8th grade, so I was only like, I don't know, how old was I in 8th grade? Like 13 or something.
13, yeah.
And all these 13-year-olds are like, whatever, it's the past, blah, blah, blah. They didn't care. But by the time we hit that room, everyone was dead silent.
Well, the silence hit when they loaded you on the elevator, and you realized it looked just like a gas chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
They make that. And mind you, like, I was impacted by the entire thing because I wanted to go to this museum. I wanted to see everything, because I think as a society, we owe it to those people who went through that horrible shit to learn about it and to prevent it from happening again. So
And
when
apparently not enough people went and learned about it to keep
Right.
it from happening again.
Unfortunately, but to see all of those kids that I went to school with who didn't take it seriously at first become so enamored by it, that tells you something. So it's like, more people need to do that.
and very likely that experience and your presence in that experience probably changed some lives in a really deep way that day.
Yeah.
But then you have a tendency to do that to people, just saying.
Maybe every once in a while.
They're all pretty blessed that way.
Yeah.
But so are you, Eric. You help a lot of people.
Yeah, thank you.
You really do.
And I believe that probably like the three of you, there are a lot of days I look in the mirror and go, God, when are you going to do something that means something? So thank you for saying that, because I really do need to hear it as much as anybody else.
We all need to hear it because you're right.
Everybody needs it. Yeah.
You're right.
Because
We're
we
all
are human, turns out.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
Eric,
you.
if anybody wants to get hypnotized by you, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me. My phone number is 616-291-2398. So I'll say it again, 616-291-2398. Or my website, ericwebster.com. Eric is spelled correctly, ERIC, Webster.com. And there's a boatload of information there. You can actually book your session if you're ready to roll. Thanks, Tipsy Witch. You can book it online. You pick what you want, whether it's a reading or hypnosis or virtual gastric band. You make that selection and the calendar pops up. My automated calendar is set for Monday through Friday during business hours. But if you need or want evenings or weekends, I'm happy to do that. I just don't want to leave it as a 24/7, because I can tell you I'm not doing this at 2 a.m. I'm home asleep waiting for 6 o'clock for Clyde to hop up to get his morning snuggles. Clyde, my dog, just to be clear. So, and I'm on Facebook. I'm kind of everywhere, actually. So, but yeah, would love to hear from people. And again, I do one of the selections on the website is a free 30-minute consultation, and that's purely designed to answer your questions and concerns. No cost, no pressure, no obligation. If you want to have a conversation about any of this. And it's never been more obvious to me that I get my words wholesale, because if you do the word count for the four of us tonight, you guys are like darn near zero, and I'm at 6.2 million.
That's how we learn things.
But I get them wholesale, so I feel free to use them because my last name is Webster.
There you go.
Love it. I love it.
Eric, have you ever had anybody, because we have a friend of ours and she does past life and for people that have been taken by aliens. Have you ever had anybody come to you with that?
Not for regression. I had a young man a couple weekends ago in Kalamazoo, came for a reading. And when he sat down, I'm like, oh, this is something different. And so I went through my process of opening the record, and the record keepers had me start with, so you're aware that you're like not from here, right? And he actually was someone who came here from another solar system. And it was great confirmation for him, because he had always felt like that. But he also felt like he really didn't belong here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to some real clarity and closure in fairly short time. But I've not had any experience with abductions or any of that sort of thing.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, she mainly, that's all she does with the hypnotism.
Good. That's cool.
Extraordinary tapes of it.
I bet there's a lot of that goes on.
I bet there is. Sounds like there is.
One more question, Eric. Kirsten asks, what if she lives in Wyoming? Is she still able to do anything with you?
Absolutely. I work on Zoom. As long as you have good, solid internet and can have a place where you're not going to have barking dogs or children, and you can sit in a comfortable chair, recline on a bed or whatever. I work with people all over the US and Canada with hypnosis and with readings. So, yep, absolutely. And really, English speaking people wherever you are, it really doesn't matter as long as there's internet.
Perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so I vote we have Eric come back.
Absolutely, always.
Yes. Yeah.
We love Eric.
This has been fun.
Like,
Actually, Eric was our very first person when we started this.
I've not been on this before.
You were on Spirit Sisters.
Was I?
Yep.
Yeah, you were on the blog on the.
Oh.
blog.
Was that before we had video?
Yeah,
Good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Good.
Did we have fun?
we did.
Yeah.
Have
Of course we did. That's what we do. Yeah. Okay.
And Tina says, yes, bring Eric back.
we can do that, and we will do that.
I'd love to. Absolutely love to.
Well, like we had mentioned earlier, if you want to get a hold of Eric and either have a free consultation with no obligations about hypnosis or set something up, his phone number and his website are in our comments. We can repost it for you on the Tipsy and Witchy website, and we can get you hooked up with him, and you can get all the stuff that you need. But that is it for tonight's show. Thank you guys for joining us, and if you watch this at a later time, still thank you for checking us out. We always appreciate it. If you are new to YouTube or new to our channel, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications for our shows. We go live every Tuesday at 7:00.
And you can see us on Tipsy and Witchy Facebook page too.
Correct. So find us on Facebook.
Next week we have our special guest returning, Kevin.
Oh God. So
Is he doing that little dance that you posted on Facebook?
oh Lord, I hope
He
not.
told me I start a GoFundMe page so his hip gets repaired after it breaks. He might consider it.
Oh, they might ban us from the internet if we did that. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, maybe.
We're going to talk about readers and different readings. And Eric, you might want to join us on that too. But we're going to have a few readers on here to tell you what they do, how they do it, where they do it. You know the drill. As long as Kevin behaves.
Hey, yeah, the chances there are kind of slim
Have you
and
met
none,
him?
aren't they? Yeah.
Jesus.
But on that note, I'm
That
so
is-
glad we seen you, Eric.
Good
Yeah.
to see you all. Thank you so
See you,
much.
Eric.
Y'all have a great rest of your week. Stay safe, and as always, stay spooky.
We love you all.
Bye.
Peace out.